Okay, good evening everyone. I'm Chris Gibbs, the Shire President for the Shire of York, declaring this meeting open at 5 p.m. on the 28th of October 2025. The York Shire Council acknowledges the Balladong people of the Noongar Nation, who are the traditional owners of the country where this meeting is being held, and recognise their continuing connection to land, water, sky and culture. We pay our respects to all these people and their elders past, present and emerging. In accordance with Regulations 14I and 14J of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, notice is given that this meeting is being video and audio recorded to facilitate community participation and for minute-taking purposes. By being present at a meeting, members of the public consent to the possibility that their image and voice may be recorded. Audio recordings are published on the Shire's website following the meeting and may be released upon request to third parties. Members of the public are reminded that in accordance with Section 6.16 of the Shire of York Local Government Council Meetings Local Law 2016, nobody shall use any visual or vocal recording device or instrument to record the proceedings of council without the written permission of the presiding member. I wish to draw attention to the disclaimer notice contained within the agenda document and advise members of the public that any decisions made at the meeting today can be revoked in accordance with Regulation 10 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996. Therefore, members of the public should not rely on any decisions until formal notification in writing from the Shire has been received. Any plans or documents in agendas and minutes may be subject to copyright, and the express permission of the copyright owner must be obtained before copying any copyright material. Standing orders, we have no change to standing orders. Announcement of visitors, we have no visitors. Councillors, do we have any declarations this evening on the items of proximity interest? Thank you. Councillors, do we have any declaration of financial interests on tonight's items? Thank you. Councillors, do we have any disclosures of impartiality interests on any of tonight's items? Yes.
I have an impartial interest on the first item.
Thank you very much, Deputy President Smythe. We will address that when we get to the item. Thank you. Okay, Section 2 is attendance. We've got Councillor Chris Gibbs, Shire President, Councillor Denise Smythe, Deputy Shire President, Councillor Monique Hutchinson, Councillor Kevin Trent and Councillor Melissa Welsh. For staff, we have Alina Behan, the Temporary Chief Executive Officer, Annika Bielsen, Acting Executive Manager for Corporate and Community Services, Rebecca Palumbo, the Acting Executive Manager of Infrastructure and Development Services, and Vanessa Green, Council and as Executive Support Officer. We have apologies from Councillor Kevin Pike, and we have a leave of absence previously approved by Councillor Elaine Ashford from the 21st of October to the 1st of November 2025 inclusive, which was a resolution of Council 021025. The number of people in the gallery at the commencement of the meeting is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and thank you very much for coming. So, we'll move now to questions from previous meetings. Responses to previous public questions taken on notice, there were nil. And response to unasked questions from the previous meetings, there were also nil, which moves us forward to public question time. I'll move to open public question time at 5:04 p.m. May I have a seconder for that, please? Don't need a seconder?
Oh, you don't need a seconder.
Sorry about that. I like the enthusiasm, Councillor Welsh. Very good. Okay, so public question time is limited to 15 minutes. However, Council may exercise its discretion to extend the time by resolution if required. Questions may be asked at an ordinary Council meeting and or any committee meeting on any matter affecting Council and the Shire's operations. Questions submitted to a special meeting are restricted to the subject matter and purpose for that meeting. To enable everyone who wishes to ask questions the opportunity, each questioner will be limited to 2. There may be the opportunity to ask more if time allows. Statements or long preamble are not permitted in question time. Priority will be given to questions about matters that are actually on this agenda. Questions containing offensive remarks, reference to the personal affairs or actions of elected members or staff which relate to confidential matters or legal action will not be accepted. Questions that the presiding member considers have been answered by earlier questions at the meeting or earlier meetings may not be accepted. And there's no debate on the answers provided to questions. So, having said all of that, we haven't received any written questions. Do we have any questions from the floor on the agenda? Do we have any questions from the floor not on the agenda? No. In that case, I will close public question time at 5:05 p.m. Thank you very much. Councillors, do we have any applications or have we received any applications administration-wise for a leave of absence? Neil? Correct. We do have a previous leave of absence approved for Councillor Trent. Presentations. We have no petitions this evening. We have no presentations this evening. And we have no deputations this evening. We'll move to 6.4, the delegates' reports. There's a report there from Councillor Denise Smythe outlining the events that she has attended over the last month or the month of September. So we'll move to the confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. There's a recommendation there. Do I have any clarification or questions from the council? Thank you. I don't have any questions. Do I have a mover for the recommendation?
Councillor Trent's prepared to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Trent. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Hutchinson seconds.
Okay, no one wants to speak against the recommendation? No? Something new that we're going to be doing from now on is giving the mover and the seconder a brief opportunity to speak to the motion if they think it's necessary. Councillor Trent, do you want to say anything about it?
No, Mr President, it's fairly straightforward.
Thank you. Councillor Hutchinson.
No, thank you. Agreed with Councillor Trent.
Okay, thanks very much. We will put it to the vote. By show of hands, please, councillors. And that's 5-0 in favour. Thank you, council. Okay, there is section announcements by the presiding member. This is the previous presiding member. Councillor Trent has listed all of the events that he attended throughout September there. And I'd also like to thank Councillor Trent for his service as the President and welcome him back to Council for another 4-year term. We're going to move to the officers' reports, so here we go. Item SY 122-10/25. The application to keep 3 dogs at Lot 26, also known as 3035, Northern York Road in York. And Councillor Smythe, you have a disclosure for this.
I do. I have an impartial interest. So with regard to application to keep 3 dogs, in the matter of SY 122-1025, I disclose that I have an association with the applicant for the person seeking the permission. The association is that I am a neighbour of the applicant. As a consequence, there may be a perception that my impartiality on the matter may be affected. I declare that I will consider this matter on its merits and vote accordingly.
Thanks, Deputy President Smythe. Okay, the officer's report is there and the recommendation is there as well. Councillors, do I have any points of clarification or questions? Okay, do I have a mover?
Mr President, I'm prepared to move the recommendation, noting that A was not in the recommendation that came to the agenda briefing, and it's only after the matter had been discussed and the staff had looked at the report and found that the 2 female dogs were sterilised and the male doesn't qualify to be sterilised yet. So I'm quite happy to move that the recommendation, the dogs being sterilised after reaching the prescribed age. I'm not sure how long that would be, 12 months, I think, from Rory's visit to the vet.
So you're suggesting to move the recommendation with an amendment,
With the recommendation with that amendment, yes.
and the amendment would be
The
dogs being sterilised upon reaching the prescribed
Prescribed
age. Okay. Do I have a seconder for the amended move? I don't. Okay. That's lapsed. We go back to the substantive motion, which is the recommendation as is. Do I have a mover for the recommendation as is?
Councillor Welsh, I'm happy to move.
Thank you, Councillor Welsh. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Hutchinson's happy to second.
Thank you, Councillor Hutchinson. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Okay. Councillor Welsh, would you like to briefly speak to the motion? That's optional. Okay. Councillor Hutchinson.
I'm quite happy with the motion in the way that it is. In regards to, I was a bit reluctant to go against enforcing the sterilisation due to basically the fact that the 2 females are already sterilised. So I'm quite happy the way that it is. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Hutchinson. We'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Okay, that's 4-1. Councillor Trent, are you voting on that? Okay, thank you. That's 4-1. That's carried. Thank you. Next item. SY 123-10/25 reports on councillor attendance at the 2025 Walga Local Government Convention. There's a report there and there's a recommendation there. Councillors, does anyone have any points of clarification or questions on this item? No. Thank you. Do I have a mover for the item, for the recommendation?
Councillor Trent moves.
Thank you, Councillor Trent. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Smythe's happy to second.
Thank you, Deputy President Smythe. Councillor Trent, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, Mr. President. For the new councillors' benefits, this is a great opportunity to get out and find out what's happening in local government land, catch up with other councillors from other places, and it's part of your training, I believe, to do just that. There will be a conference again next year in September, October, I believe, and I'd recommend that you attend.
Thank you very much, Councillor Trent. Deputy President Smythe, would you like to speak? Thank you very much. Okay, we'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried 5-0. Thank you, Council. Next item. SY 124-10/25, the financial report for September 2025. There's a report there. There's a recommendation. May I ask if any councillors have a question or a point of clarification? I'll take Deputy President Smythe first, please.
I do have a question. The statement of financial activity, the year-to-date insurance is up by 248%, and I'd like to know how are the insurance payments included across the budget timeline?
Thanks. I'll refer that to the temporary CEO.
Thank you, through the chair. So a lot of our budget is apportioned 12 monthly or another area like that. But our insurances actually come in twice a year. So that's really just a timing. We are moving to improve our budgeting so that we actually capture when they're most likely to land, and then you won't see that variance so much. So that's really all that one relates to.
Are there any further questions? Councillor Trent, did you have a question?
Yes, just in terms of overall insurance, I understand that the insurance industry is pushing up the premiums for just about everyone and anything, and I'm just wondering whether this has been taken into account.
I'll refer that to the temporary CEO. Thank you.
Thank you, through the chair. Insurances for local government are quite an interesting thing. So we have some very specific needs that actually aren't met by other insurers in the industry. So we actually have a member service, which LGIS is one where councils opt into, and it's basically self-funded. So we insure through them and pay their premiums to them, and then the rebates come out through that. There are times when if we have paid in more, that we actually get some back. So to do additional services or to cover off on risk items, they do also refund us with things like skin checks, healthcare, etc. So it's a good service. At previous incarnations, other local governments I've worked at, we've actually tested the market and gone out to other insurers just to see if we actually could get better value, and resoundingly we could not. So we find overall LGIS as our insurance provider does present the best value, and we budget accordingly. We are in contact with them prior to the budgeting season, finding out what their likely increase is, and they do keep in good contact with us regarding that. So it's a value for money service, and they communicate efficiently.
Thank you. Okay, are there any further questions on this item from council? Okay, do I have a mover, please? Thanks, that's moved by...
Councillor Smyth's happy to move.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Welsh is happy to second.
Thanks, Councillor Welsh. Would any of you like to speak to the motion? Either of you, sorry? No, we're okay there. Let's put it to the vote. That's carried 5-0. Thank you, Council. Next item, SY 125-10/25, investments for September 2025. There's a recommendation there. Councillors, does anyone have any points of clarification or questions on this item? Councillor Trent.
I take it that we roll our money over frequently looking for higher interest. Is that reflected in the figures that have come forward?
I'll refer that to the temporary CEO.
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, we absolutely do. Every time we have a maturing investment, we scan the market to look for the very best deal we can get, whether that's 3 monthly, 6 monthly or 12 monthly. We try to also examine what our cash flow requirements are so that we actually match the investment term to when we're actually going to need the money. We're finding at the moment that we're doing exceedingly well. If you, for long-term councillors, of which you are, you'd remember that just 4 years ago we were getting very limited return on our investments, but we're seeing significant uptake in that, and we are actively seeking good investment opportunities. We obviously have an investment policy which actually limits our risk on that, so we're only investing in legitimate concerns, so that we have a threshold as to what we would accept as risky, which is set by council.
Thank you. Councillor, are there any further questions on this item? Okay, do I have a mover for the item?
Councillor Smyth is happy to move.
Okay, do I have a seconder for the item?
Councillor Trent, second.
Would any councillor like to speak against the item? Deputy President Smyth, would you like to speak to it? Councillor Trent, would you like to speak to it?
No.
Thank you very much. We'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried 5-0. Okay, motions of which previous notice have been given would normally go here. We don't have any tonight. Are there any questions from the council? Questions from members without notice? There are not. Thank you. There's no business of an urgent nature introduced by a decision of the meeting. There's no need to close the meeting to the public for any confidential items. If there were, then we would bring you all back in afterwards to let you know what the resolution was. So with that, I'll thank you all for attending the first OCM of the new council. We are a couple of members down, but we hope to be back to full strength in November. Thanks so much for your interest. Thank you to the new council and especially our 2 new councillors for getting through your first OCM. Thanks always to the administration as well and the continuing councillors. And I'll close this meeting at 5:20 p.m. and we'll see you next time. Thank you.